Today's workout is a 15-minute postpartum full body workout. We're working the full body in intervals to get your heart rate up, but keep it postpartum friendly. And the best part is you don't need any equipment. Let's get started. Hey mamas, welcome to today's workout. We've got a 15-minute full body postpartum workout. So we're gonna work the full body with intervals. We're gonna do 45 seconds of one exercise, then superset doing an exercise working the same muscle groups for another 45 seconds. Then we'll get a 15-second break and repeat that round. So 2 rounds of the same 2 exercises, 45 seconds back to back. Hope you got that. We'll go through it together. We're gonna start our first exercise with a hinge squat. So we're gonna take the feet a little wider than hip distance apart, reaching for those toes, hinge forward, and then we're gonna lift up the chest, drop into a squat. So we hinge, hinging from the hips, and then squat down, push your butt back. So we hinge, then squat. I'll show you from the side here so you can see what I'm doing. So the hinge is like a deadlift. We hinge from the hips, push back into those hamstrings and glutes, and then when we squat, we drop the hips back, bending the knees, sitting back deep into those hips. So we wanna go butt almost parallel to the floor if you can, and then I'm placing my hands here just to remind myself to keep my chest up, but you can also put them here, whatever works for you. So you're really gonna feel those hamstrings right here, that nice stretch, and then the quads right here when we're deep in that squat. We're gonna go right into our next exercise, a wall sit. So come to a wall. We're gonna take the feet about hip distance apart and just chill out here. Although, even though we're not doing any movement, you can feel the quads already from that first round. Whew. So we want those heels down, really press into the floor. If you want it, you could add a weight to this to make it a little more challenging, but I don't think you need it. And then this is designed to be equipment-free, no equipment workout. So we can get the full body going, strength, a little bit of a cardio burst, but also keep it no equipment and space friendly if you're traveling or just don't have a lot of space, you're working out next to your baby. This one is perfect for that. Okay, 15-second rest. Oh, there's no good way to get out of that. It's just awkward. We're gonna repeat that set. So second round, we know the moves. We're really gonna maximize, push that intensity a little bit. So take those feet a little wider than hips. We're gonna hinge and then we're gonna squat. Really push back into those hips, drop it low. Now, since we're warm, can you hinge, pushing back a little further? We wanna make sure we're keeping that spine long and straight here as we hinge forward, right? Neck is long, chin is tucked, no rounding at the spine. If you can't quite get there with your touching your toes, just come here or as low as you can. And then in that squat, if you've got the mobility for it, see how I'm going a little bit below parallel to the floor? Getting a little more hip ankle mobility. Whew, getting more into those quads. Burns so good. And this combination is really good for the back body with that hinge, front body with that squat. Nice, okay, right into the wall sit. So we wanna keep those legs, those muscles under tension. That's why we don't recover between these 2 exercises. So we're keeping the quads, hamstrings, glutes loaded. But of course, if you need it, you can take a rest, but it's intentional to really keep that muscle tension going. Breathe into this one, heels down. You want the hips pressing against the wall. This one is mind over matter because we're just staying here watching the clock, or at least I am. Woo, couple more seconds in 3, 2, 1, nice work. All right, next we're coming to the ground for a bear squat. So it's a plank with a squat incorporated into it. We're gonna come into that plank position. You can either do this on your knees here or on your toes here. We want shoulders over wrists, abs tight. Shift your butt back and then drive forward into that plank. So you're trying to push your butt back toward your heels. You want your feet about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit further out. And then as you push back, think about really opening up the back body. So we want that nice deep squat just like we practiced in the hinge squat. And that's gonna help activate the back body, really fire up those quads, glutes, hamstrings as we shift forward, brace that core, and almost think like you're shooting forward. So when you come forward, shoulders over wrists, maybe a little further in front, but we want the palms pushing down, abs really strong. And you want your hips down. As you bring it forward, try not to lift up through the hips. That's gonna take some of that intensity out. Okay, now we're gonna bring the knees under the hips for a bear plank, and we're gonna hold. So try now, when you transition, don't put the knees down. Keep them right under the hips. Brace that core, belly button pulled towards spine. Great exercise for our deep core and pelvic floor. So you can see now we're incorporating some isometric movements with some dynamic movements. So isometric means we hold it. We're keeping those same muscles under tension, so it's quads, it's shoulders, it's core. You can feel all of that working together here. Less than 10 seconds, and we get a quick recovery. Make sure those knees are staying close to the ground. We want them elevated, but close to the floor for maximum intensity. Rest. Whew, that bear plank really gets you going after that bear squat. Okay, so you know what we're doing this time. We're gonna push the intensity. So take a breath in, come to that plank, shift back, shift forward. Dynamic movement. See, this time you can push back further. Shift forward with more power. A great warm-up exercise. Something great to do on leg day if you're lifting weights. And mobility, you're getting the hips, the core, the shoulders, everything's working together here. And that's the idea of this workout. It's functional strength, functional training, which is perfect for postpartum. When you need your strength, bear plank right into it. Don't drop the knees, keep them up, shift forward, knees under hips, shoulders over wrists. And this is super functional right here, because think about how much you're gonna be in this position postpartum and just in general. Cleaning, picking up toys, picking up your baby. So good, and then so good for your deep core and pelvic floor. We're really firing on all cylinders here. And we're shaking, but that's good. Shaking means your body is fighting, you're getting stronger, you're pushing your limit, and rest. Okay, now we're gonna do a negative push-up. So we're gonna start, you can either begin on your knees or your toes. We're gonna slowly come to the bottom, lying all the way on our belly in the prone position, and then we're gonna push up from the knees. So let's go slowly down, bringing the chest all the way to the floor, knees come down, and then push up quickly. If you want, you can leave the knees down here, resting all the way on the floor for just a second. So it's not a long pause at the bottom, but what we want to do is really accentuate the descent to the floor using control. Trying to keep the body like a board, trying to keep the shoulders over the wrists in that perfect plank. And if you want to, come up quick, keep the knees off the floor. You can do that as well. We're gonna go right into a side forearm plank. So place one forearm on the ground and rotate open the hips. So you see I just went right into it, keeping that tension in the shoulders. So forearm, elbow at 90 degrees, legs, heels in line with your elbow. Reach up with the top arm and make sure you're staying square to the front. We don't want to open to the ceiling. If you need to here, place the bottom leg down and take a modification. But regardless, I don't want you dropping this hip. Keep the hip pressing toward the ceiling and forearm pressing toward the mat. So we stay really strong here. Great for the obliques, the hips, deep core, pelvic floor. We do these a lot in my workouts because there's just so many benefits to a side plank, and they're perfect for if you do have core dysfunction. They're safe exercise. Rest. Okay, so that little circuit, 2 exercises back to back. We're gonna go back to the negative push-up, then we'll do the side plank, forearm plank on the other arm, other side. So go ahead and set up for that side plank or that push-up combination. Slow to the bottom. You can keep the knees up if you want. You can place the knees down at any point. I'm barely kissing the floor here. If you need a little bit longer, hang out a little bit longer, but it's not gonna make it easier really, the longer you hang out on the floor. Hate to break it to you. Another really important exercise we want to master here is the push-up. Because we use full body strength here. So important to integrate for the core, for just functional movement patterns. Run into that side plank. Okay, I'm gonna rotate so I don't turn away from you, but you get the idea. Don't place the arm down, right? And I didn't. I still didn't. Okay, so reach up, wrap the core, lift through the bottom side of the waist. Again, you can take the bottom leg, bend it, and place it on the floor. Functional movement exercises like this are so important for postpartum because we're really integrating all the different muscles in the lower body, core, upper body, so you get strong overall. So you're strong for everyday life, but you also get the aesthetic goals you want to. And rest. Okay, last circuit, we're going to a kneeling lunge to squat. So we're gonna do one side first and then we'll switch to the other side. So let's take the right leg forward first into a kneeling position. We're gonna tuck the back toes under and then we're gonna lift the back knee off the ground and then come to a squat, feet just outside hips. Let's do that again. Just drop the knee, touch it lightly, and then squat. So we're gonna stay with this right leg forward. Every time you just lightly touch the back knee down and then squat. So you're keeping those back toes tucked. We wanna aim for 90 at the knees in that lunge. So we're kissing the ground and then same thing with that squat, butt parallel to the floor if you can. So we're really gonna feel the quads, the glutes light up here. And then we're gonna use this same leg, keeping this leg down, the right leg on the floor for our single leg glute bridge, which will come up next. And we're really gonna burn out those glutes. All right, let's make our way to the floor. Right leg stays down, left leg stays up, single leg bridge. So drive through that right heel. You can keep the left leg bent like this, or you can extend it out for a little more intensity, or take it up. Whatever feels good to you today. I like this. It challenges me a little bit more with the levers. The longer your leg is extended, the harder it will be because the further it is away from that midline of the body. Drive down through that heel, try to push high, high, high with those hips. It's tough with one leg, right? Especially when we pre-fatigue the glute with that kneeling squat to lunge. And that's the whole point of this, rest, to pre-fatigue the muscle so that when we get to that second set, we're really gonna feel that intensity, right? And that's where we start to change. It's not in the first set we really feel a little bit of burn. It's in that second round where we're like, okay, this is intense. Other side, let's go. Kneeling squat to lunge. And we really have to push that threshold, right? We've got to do it safely and respectfully of our bodies, but it's not enough to just quit when you're like, oh, this is a little bit hard. We really have to find that sweet spot where it's very challenging, manageable, but very challenging, or maybe where we have to stop and take a breath or drop the weights if we're lifting weights. But we got to find that threshold to be able to really change the functional strength, the appearance of our bodies. And we're not necessarily doing cardio, but you can probably hear it in my voice. You can probably feel it if you're working with me. This one's tough. It will get your heart rate up because we're working those big muscle groups of the body. So it's not necessarily cardio, but it hits like a cardio workout. Okay, same thing. Other leg goes down, so left leg, right knee, bend and lift. You can take the leg out if you'd like, bend it, extend to the sky. Do a little bit of everything to distract yourself. Sometimes I do that. So good to isolate those glutes, hamstrings, and again, deep core pelvic floor. And this is our last one. We're headed into the final 8 seconds. Let's finish strong. Awesome. We did it. That was incredible. 15 minutes, we got it done. Functional strength. Not only is your body gonna feel strong, but it's gonna feel really mobilized and loosened up after that too. So if you got tight muscles, that one's a great one to do at the beginning or an end of an additional workout. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Be sure to check out my channel. I've got so many more postpartum strength, cardio, and ab workouts. And I've also got my new postpartum nutrition guide up on my website if you're looking for something to really enhance your postpartum exercise experience. Not only do I offer my YouTube guides, which guide you through my exercises, my workouts here, but I've also got my nutrition guide, which shares about how I approach nutrition, no diets, no fads, no cleanses, no restrictions, but just nourishing whole foods to help fuel your postpartum and get you strong and healthy for years to come. So check those out. They're linked in the description below on my website. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this and let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more workouts like this or what you want to see on the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you back here for our next workout together.